Mavericks, Teddy LaRose here at Food Mavericks 1000. I'm just putting together a quick little kind of eclectic dish here. We're going to have a lot of vegetables, some noodles, we're going to have beans in there for people who like beans, and we're going to bake it. See, with the holidays coming up, and maybe a lot of people showing up, and we've said this before, but I'll just say it again, you probably, or you at least could, have someone in the family or friend that does not have the same diet as everybody else, and often there's more than one of those. So you might have a vegan over here, keto over there, gluten-free over there, and when you do a dish like this, you can just section it out and have one main thing for everybody, and then section it out. The nice thing about it is that vegetables are good for everybody, as far as I know. So that's what we're doing first. So we did some ghee today, and some spices in there. We've got mustard seeds, celery seeds, ajwain seeds, and some turmeric, cumin and coriander powder in there so far, onions, and the stems of broccoli. Now we're going to stick some other, like, longer cooking vegetables in there. Broccoli and cauliflower take a little longer than zucchini, so it's all going to cook together in the oven, which is so cool. Oh boy. Because you can, like, you put it at what we're going to put it at, which is about 300. I say about because every oven's different. So this one says 300, and it might be just a little touch over 300 because it's a very groovy convection oven. About 300, which means you don't need to overcook these guys. They will cook in there. But I like to get them going first because then everything gets coated with a nice spice. You've got everything going in hot, and it kind of guarantees that everything will come out cooked. One thing we did at conferences was we do huge amounts of these things in these huge trays like so. And having things like this done in advance meant that when you came back down to do the final prep on dinner, you had those just last minute things like frosting the cake in my case, which was thrilling. Or salad, I like to do salad. And other people doing the finishing touches on the amazing soups that have come out of there. So it's like if you have something at least that can go in like this. Oh, grains can do this too, and I might go into that in another video. If you have this dish, which is mainly vegetables and protein, and you have another dish that is grain, then you could, instead of putting noodles in, you could do some nice rice pilaf or something. Oh boy, did we do some pilaf. So we'll get that going as the season progresses. And I get a little bit of a remembrance from the guy who did it all. I did other stuff. Okay, now here we're also going to put some zucchinis in. I could have gotten too many out here. By the way, the whole kitchen smells like white peaches, and I'm kind of losing my mind. Right here in this season, a lot of fruits are coming ripe, and people have trees in the medians. So I was walking by the other day, and there was this smell that reminded me of my favorite thing, and it was white peaches. And the interesting thing is that they kind of weren't being tended. You know, they're in the median in sort of an area that I guess somebody thought that's his yard, that's their yard, and all of them do anything. See the zucchini's going in now. Now what I'm looking to here is about a 3-person meal in a household that loves vegetables. And I've said this before, but I can't say it enough. If you're in a household that doesn't think they love vegetables, then give them a chance. Anyway, about the peaches. There they were. And they were soft on the tree. And they were all over the ground, being just about to rot. So I just collected a whole bunch of them, and I did a cleanup service for the neighborhood, and I have my favorite flavor. He just said we're good on amount. We are good on amount here. So if you're in a household that adores vegetables, or if you don't mind leftovers, these would be great leftovers. You could, oh boy, they'd be fine, really very fine. The flavors would meld a lot. So, now this is according to taste, of course. We're going to go like so. There, we're going to go like so. You can always add more later, but if you don't add it now, well, if you do add it now, what you get is this experience of it pulling the water out of vegetables, and they cook in a really magical way. Okay, now see how easy that is? Check. Okay, I don't know how long that took, and then we're going to put tomato in there. Now, this is petite diced, organic. Often these are riper than what you can buy on in the vegetable aisle, so we're going to put those in. Okay, now what? Now it's who's eating what in this household time. Okay, so 2 out of 3 can eat beans and 1 cannot, so we're going to pull it out. And so, you'll have different things. So some people, a lot of people can eat beans. And in this way also, with these spices, if you find that you can't usually tolerate beans, then you might be pleasantly surprised if you go ahead and spice them. It's my experience as well. Okay, so we got that going. How does this look for 2, yeah? Okay, we'll do one more over here then. Okay. Now, see, some people, this is going to go in this oven. 300, guys. That'll cook all by itself. I'm going to put a lid on it in a minute when I have a minute. Okay, now what? Now we're going to put some beans in there. These are black beans, also organic. We'll get to making our own one of these days. But if you're in a big old hurry, you can see how beautiful this is. And you kind of got eclectic flavors going on. I guess you could say it dominates in the East Indian direction, but you got a kind of nice balance there. Okay, now we've got these noodles. And I'm going to figure out a way to drain them. We'll get right back to you. Okay, guys, we're going to put in a kind of a cayenne mix here. It's actually got 3 peppers in it, really nice. Stand back when you do it so you don't breathe it in. And we're just going to shake a little in there. Yes? Good? Okay, now, the man behind the camera, who's made this type of thing more often, suggests more water. So we're going to put in about half a can here. It's about a cup. Or more? More. Yes? Okay. So bring it up to a boil. And while that's getting back up to a boil, look how pretty it is. Ooh, it's gorgeous. Okay. I'm planning to do minestrone soup this way, guys. Minestrone soup. This is actually a lot like minestrone soup. I think minestrone soup means put in whatever you got, including noodles. This is what I think it means. Okay, so now we've got everything we've got. And we've got these noodles. Now shall we go ahead for the full Monty here? Okay, so this is going to be like a really interesting, fun kind of noodly, fantastico dish. We're putting the noodles in. So these have been pre-cooked. Depending on how you like your noodles, you could not cook them quite this much and kind of like just, this is about maybe 2/3 of the amount of time they recommended. You could do 1/4 of the time, and what would happen then is they would soak up a lot of this water. So you're going to need to experiment with that, but that's also a fun way to do it. I wouldn't put them in dry, unless you had just a walloping amount of water in there. And we've done things like that where the man behind the screen there would be making sauce for a very, very long time, and then we put the noodles in and just pile on the sauce. It was fun. We might do one. This is looking pretty good to me. It probably has enough salt, but again, this can be added later, and do not forget. So there you've got that. We're going to let it come up to speed a little bit. Put on the lid. And then we're going to pop it into a 300-degree oven and walk away. I'd give it an hour at least, up to 2. And I think that's what we used to do. So, but 1 to 2, check it out, act accordingly. And this was cooking at a pretty high clip. We have a message going on. Talk to you later, guys.